Hello and welcome back to Summers Gymnasium for the conference home opener between the Bryan College Lady Lions and the visiting Johnson University Royals. I, as always, am your voice of the Lions, Drew Rogers. And joined with me here today is a fresh face, a guy that told me he'd been wanting to get into broadcasting for a while. With me today is Zach Barker. Zach, what's up, man?
How's it going, Drew? I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to creating new relationships in the booth. I'm really hoping this is going to be a great season for both the men and women.
Absolutely, man. I have high hopes. I have high hopes for both of them. And maybe you're right. Maybe this is sort of something beautiful, as they say, in the booth. We'll set the stage real quick for you here, folks. The Lady Lions have won the conference since 2018-2019 regular season, of course, and they come in this year with exactly the same expectations. They've got a lot of veteran leadership on this team, girls that have been here for a while, and they're going to need to rely on those players quite heavily in order to sustain success over a long season. And on the Johnson side, they come into this game with some unknowns. 14 freshmen on this roster, only 6 returners, and they rely heavily on a lot of these freshmen. Zach, which freshman do you think they rely most on?
I think freshman Hannah Jones looks pretty good as of recently. She's averaging 13 points a game, and she's shooting 46% from the field. She seems to really have a feel for the game and a touch for the ball. So.
She absolutely does, and I mean, at her size in women's basketball, it's impressive that she's attempting threes, and then her field goal percentage is still so high. And back to the Bryan side, Bryan lost Destiny Kastner last year, was about 16 a game. They're big, probably one of their better rebounders, and so there's going to have to be girls that step up in her place. Katie Farrell, and then some freshmen, some newcomers that we haven't seen play except for this preseason yet will all be pretty big parts of this year's game. And I think this is a game that both teams want to start off the season right. They're going to be, Johnson is close to here, and they've gotten a lot better in recent years. Of course, they just joined the conference 2 years ago. So maybe we have a little bit of a brewing rivalry going on, and we're going to get into our keys of the game now. Zach, what's first for Johnson?
I think Johnson's biggest key to the game tonight is going to be getting to the line, because they are shooting 70% from the line, and they're only 44% from the field. So I think getting to the line and getting up some free throws is going to be a huge thing in tonight's game for Johnson.
Absolutely, man. And for me, I actually got to watch this Johnson team a little early, just by happenstance. And for me, they've got to stay tight on shooters. I watched them play Toccoa Falls. They gave up a lot of kick-out threes, and no disrespect to Toccoa Falls, fine program over there. But this Lady Lions team has some knockdown shooters. They absolutely do, and they're going to have to stay tight on those. They can't fall for reaching into driving lanes and getting those kick-out threes hit on them. And what's next for Johnson, Zach?
Johnson is really going to have to take advantage of Bryan's youth off the bench. Johnson being a young team as well, they have an experienced matchup going on for both sides. Freshman on freshman, if you can get that as much as you can, or even you can put an upperclassman on the freshman, give them a little bit of college experience, like teach them how to get to the rim, things like that. So make your experience that you do have very, very big for your team tonight.
Absolutely. And we'll move on to Bryan here. For me, the first thing is the best players have got to act like it. You've got to show that championship pedigree that you've been known for over the past few years. And along with that comes down from knocking down open shots. Yeah. You can't give away wide open. I mean, basketball is a game of runs. You get wide open shots, you got to knock them down to start that run. And finally, for Johnson, they've got to keep, for Bryan, excuse me, they've got to keep Johnson's size advantage to a minimum. That means box outs. Hannah Jones is quite a bit taller, maybe, than anybody on the team, other than maybe Caitlin Hennessy or Katie Farrell, but Hennessy plays further from the basket because she's a point guard now. And finally, we're going to go and get into one key player from each team from both of us. Zach, who's up for you on both sides?
Well, for Johnson, I have Hannah Jones, the freshman. She's leading the team in points per game as a freshman, and she also leads the team in minutes. So obviously, she's getting a lot of touches. She's getting a lot of baskets made for this Johnson team, and she seems to really know the feel for this team. And then for Bryan, I have senior forward Samantha Russell. She's coming off a 22-point performance in the loss versus Bruton Parker, and I'm sure she's looking to build on that tonight and have a way better outcome in the win column.
Absolutely. I think that's well said, man. Both of those girls are going to have big games for their respective teams. For me on the Johnson side, it's Jordan Hefner, maybe? I think it's Hefner.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. She's the only returner from last year, averaging over 10 a game. So you can tell that she knows how to get a bucket. She knows how to create for her teammate. I think she has to have a big game here tonight. And on the Bryan side, my player is Katie Farrell. Can she lock up Hannah Jones, who's been pretty dominant in the preseason? And her job is not only going to be defensive rebounding, but can she get her into foul trouble? Can she get into her and make her pick up some bad fouls that greatly reduces Johnson's size advantage? And for the pregame, that's about it. We're going to head to pregame intros, national anthem, lineup, all that good stuff. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after all that here on the Lions Radio Network. Welcome back, folks, to Summers Gymnasium here for the conference home opener. We're going to get you started right off the rip here. Alyssa Molaski takes her first three. It is no good. Johnson moves the ball up the floor. Caitlin Hennessy steals it, tries to throw it off Hannah Jones. To no avail. We'll see, I believe that's Sloan Carpenter now with the ball at the top of the key. She swings it over to number 2.
Watch for Caitlin to display some great defense last night as a former defensive player of the year in the Appalachian Athletic Conference.
That she is, and Johnson's got to get a shot up. That one swings off the backboard. We'll see Hennessy push it in transition to Brooks. Pump fake up and in for the first bucket of the game.
What a play right there by Caitlin.
That was pretty elite court vision, and now we'll have a stoppage of play by the official. I believe it's something with the shot clock. They'll look to reset it here. But what a way to start for the Lady Lions. A full court pass. Between two people, Brooks is able to put it in. Brooks has shown massive improvement over her time here at Bryan in the finishing department. Really just over her whole game, and it shows right there. We'll see Johnson on offense. Carpenter with the ball. They'll look to swing it. They have a man wide open. That's Hefner. No good. Strong fight for the ball by Samantha Russell. She'll take it across. Lady Lions looking to attack here after the errant layup by Hefner.
Try to get the ball inside right here, you think?
They seem to be looking to do that, and Hennessy will go straight into her man. Goes up and finishes. Good defense there by number 2, Tally Lawson. But Hennessy able to use her size and get it in the bucket. Excuse me. We'll see Sloan Carpenter once again. Lady Lions leading here 4-0. Hannah Jones thinks about the shot for a second, decides to pull it down. Over to number 10, Jordan Hefner. Hennessy there for it. She'll take it all the way. Nobody going to catch her. And that gives the Lady Lions a 6-0 advantage. And Johnson's coach needs a timeout. And they are fired up here in Summers Gymnasium. Just going to be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here for the break. Zach, what are you liking so far?
I mean, I'm liking the defensive answers. You can't, like I said, Johnson leading in the turnover margin, and they've already had a couple. So I mean, it's starting to look really good for the Lady Lions, especially if Caitlin continues to play defense the way she's playing at the moment and continue to maintain this great court vision.
Absolutely. She really is she's really a do-it-all player. You know, she plays defense, uses her size. She can also shoot a little bit, get inside, rebounding. So, I mean, if she's going to play like this, the rest of the night will be pretty easy for her teammates.
I would assume so.
Now out of the timeout, Johnson looks to get back, or looks to get on the board for the first time here. They'll go inside to Jones. Hennessy pokes it out. It'll stay Johnson University ball.
She might be making a strong case to win that Defensive Player of the Year again already.
And you're right, Zach, but there was a call on the floor. Oh, it's to reset the shot clock once again. The student workers always have some trouble at the beginning. We'll excuse them for that. Carpenter for 3. Just long, it looks like. Farrell with the rebound. Hennessy will push it up the floor now, looking to keep zipping it all over the place to her teammates. She's got the much smaller Carpenter on her. And the official calls a foul on number 11, Carpenter. Looked like a decent steal attempt to me, but you can't complain about those when you get them. Hennessy inbounds the ball to Russell. Hennessy going to work on her man in the corner. She'll look for the kick out to Brooks. Passes a little low. She'll still take it. And good. Tori Brooks with 5 early points for the Lady Lions. Hennessy once again on the defensive end. Just a monster here for the Lady Lions. We'll see a sub. Number 1, I believe that's going to be Emily Wilson into the game for a number 11, Sloan Carpenter. Johnson's coach not happy with what he sees so far from Carpenter. And Johnson still looking to get on the board here. 9-0 Lady Lions lead in the early first. Tipped up again by Hennessy. Brooks will go for the steal. That's no good. Farrell, good rebound. Pulls it down up to Hennessy. She'll look. She'll find Russell in transition over two people. That's blocked by either Hannah Jones or Emily Wilson.
Some good defense right here.
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty excellent to pick it up. The shot now from Hefner. That's long. Farrell gives chase. Up to Brooks. Brooks will work on her man. Uses her body. Maybe a foul, but a foul there on number, I believe that's going to be number 32, Gabby Beatty. And in these early, opening minutes of the first quarter, we've seen several of the Lady Lions do what they do best. Brooks is a scorer. Hennessy is kind of your do-it-all player, and Farrell has been all over the board, Zach.
And one thing I'm noticing, it looks like Johnson trying to end their scoring struggles by landing an electric three ball, but it just seems like it will not happen, just won't fall for them. So I think Johnson just needs to look more to get into the rim and getting the ball off the glass.
Absolutely. You've got a lot of I'll do it myself people out there right now. They've got to get into their offense, set something up, and come out on top.
It's another three ball.
We'll see Caitlin Pike for three. That's no good. Offensive rebound by Hefner. Emily Wilson, another one of those threes you were talking about. Farrell will give chase. Ball falls into Russell's hands. They're still running. Russell to the basket. Finishes over Hannah Jones. And Hennessy comes up with another steal. Sorry, I turned my head to get a drink. She'll take a three. And it rolls in. Lady Lions dominant in this first quarter. 15-0 lead. Caitlin's right now. Hennessy will go for another steal. Might want to be careful she doesn't get a foul there. Looks like she was going pretty hard for it. Hannah Jones now tries Farrell. Farrell says no way. Deflects the pass. Russell almost falls, catches herself. Gives a little smile. They're having fun out there, Zach.
Looks like it. See Johnson coming out here in this 2-3.
That was Brooks. That was Brooks from distance. Looked pretty good in the air. That's a play that Brooks has had pretty much made for her since she got here. Is that kind of handoff three, and then she's got the range to shoot those, so it's not one you mind. Once again, Johnson looking to get on the board here, and Coach Johnson, our Coach Johnson, not Johnson University, calling for some pressure here from his guards. You see Wilson now with the ball. Lady Lion defenders all over him. And she'll get a steal. That's number 3, Autumn Davis, Still learning a few of the freshmen's name. Hennessy to Molaski, good!
It's raining threes out here.
Picture perfect play there. Hennessy to Molaski. And Caitlin Pike has the ball. Some pressure now once again from Nevaeh Majors. Autumn Davis.
Seemed like a botch play right there from Johnson.
And a travel. Oh, no, they don't blow the whistle. My goodness. It looks pretty textbook to me. Emily Wilson going for the three. That one's long. Hennessy grabs the rebound. Once again, Bryan is pushing it up the court. Caitlin Hennessy over to Autumn Davis. Oh, and Davis splashes the three, but we're going to get a charge call there. I think that was a pretty good call. I don't think she was inside the circle. And
back to Johnson's offensive struggles. I think if Bryan's defense keeps them on the perimeter like they have been all night, it's going to be a really long night for Johnson.
I think you're right. This Lady Lions defense, like this just swarming attack, is, again, another example right here, is frustrating the ball handlers of Johnson University. And we'll see, that'll be Hennessy and Molaski checking out for Russell and Brooks. But you're right, man. They're having a lot of trouble even getting into simple, basic things that they want to do. And Johnson's coach has pretty quickly gone to his reserves here to try to stop some of this bleeding, but it's having no effect. We'll see Russell now, 4-3, just short. Emily Wilson on the rebound. And Brooks all over the defensive end as well. Nevaeh Majors, good hustle there to get that ball. She'll drive into the lane, pull up. And that's going to be a foul on number 45, Jaden Lee. She's just a freshman out there. Her first conference game. And picks up an early foul. And now Johnson comes back on offense. And I don't know if I was Johnson, if I'd want to be on offense. They've been getting hounded out there.
They cannot penetrate this Bryan defense.
And another long contested three ball goes up from Wilson. Autumn Davis looks for Brooks. She finds her. It's good! Tori Brooks exploding in the first quarter here. And the Lady Lions are now up a staggering 21-0 on the Royals. And kind of a touchy foul there, a block on Brooks. See Johnson inbounding on the far side.
See if Johnson can try to answer right here at least and try to get something on the board here. Is this another turnover, it looks like?
That may have to wait just a second. It'll say Johnson ball, excuse me. But everything the Royals have tried to do on offense, bar one missed layup from Hefner, has been completely swallowed up by the Lady Lions defense. I mean, there's no transition, there's no flow. And they're really struggling to get into anything right now. And Autumn Davis is quickly impressing me as one of my favorite players to watch, as her effort leads to a Samantha Russell steal. Russell will pump fake, and we'll get a foul. That'll go against number 24, Georgia Bell Elmore. Okay, I think that's correct. Sometimes when I'm learning names, it's just, yeah.
Samantha's got a chance to put it up 23 right here with 2 shots.
She'll get the first halfway there. And I believe checking in the game is going to be number 4, Kira Bunton. And Gabby Beatty back into the game. Becca Gardner and Kelsey Pike, not Caitlin, Kelsey Pike will check out of the game for the Royals. As I probably sound like a broken record, but they're still looking to get on the board here, folks. And, man, Autumn Davis is swarming anybody with the ball. Nevaeh Majors looks to continue her work. And Emily Wilson makes a good move, drives the lane, a floater up and good. Johnson on the board. Autumn Davis up to Brooks. Her second fast break layup is no good. And that's Majors on the tip. Might have got hit in the face there. Russell will fall down, trying to handle the high pass there from Brooks.
I really want to see Bryan try to keep stepping on their throats here and put this game out of reach before we reach halftime.
Yeah, I've watched basketball for a long time, Zach, and there's a tendency to, get out to hot starts and then coast. You're right, especially at home. And you're right. They've absolutely got to continue this onslaught on offense and defense that they're doing.
Here we go again, keeping Johnson out on the perimeter, keep them from getting to the rim.
Gabby Beatty with the ball. She'll drive, met by Molaski. Over to Pruitt, and Pruitt's three is short, rebounded by Brooks.
And this is where you see Johnson's 44% from the field start to show right here. Some communication going on down here between the Lady Lions.
Russell will look for a three. She'll pull it just long. Hennessy goes for the board, and Georgia Bell Elmore, 24, had her bite. Looked like she had clear over the back on Hennessy there. Hennessy got pretty good position, but it stays Lady Lions ball.
Caitlin again here looking for something to happen.
Hennessy, the screen's going to be from Farrell. She'll look to make a move off her leg. Going to have to get a shot up. Oh. And the foul goes against Elmore. And Hennessy's going to shoot some bonus free throws there. Oh, excuse me, she's not going to shoot bonus free throws. I believe Bryan's going to be one short in that regard. Hennessy will now inbound to Russell. Hennessy will look to get him into the offense here. She sets kind of a rub screen over to Molaski. They look to get it inside to her. She clicks it over to Russell. Russell, it's good!
No doubt about it. You might as well go ahead and add 3 points to the board if you see him pull up from the arc.
Brutal, go up, blocked by Farrell, and that'll get the crowd into it. Eddie Farrell is answering every question mark that I had about, not really her, but just about the Johnson University side offense.
I thought that touched the Johnson player.
It definitely looked like it from up here, but of course we're not on the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, from up here.
One thing about this Johnson team, Drew, is all this season that the close games have been the MO of this team. And so look for Johnson to find an answer here in the second quarter, maybe even the second half, to try to find a way to battle back into this game. Their lowest margin of victory this season has been 6, and the largest was only 21, and that was against Toccoa Falls earlier this week, or maybe even last week.
Yeah, it was earlier this week, and I was there. I was there for that game, and it was close. It wasn't. They pulled away at the end, but it was close pretty much the whole way. I believe Toccoa Falls was actually leading at halftime. So you're right. I mean, this is a resilient team, but they're looking for answers right now, and I believe so is our shot clock operator. This might be the 3rd or 4th time we've seen that. Brooks will jump. Wilson, believe that's for 2. Good rebound there by Hennessy. She'll sling it up to Brooks once again. Ooh, and a foul will go against number 1, Emily Wilson.
Just gonna keep. Just gotta, like, if I'm Johnson right here, I gotta play clean basketball, and I gotta get to the rim.
Yeah, they're close to getting some of their girls into early foul trouble early.
Yeah.
They've already got 5 as a team in this first quarter. Brooks' first free throw is good. Brooks' second free throw finds its mark. That'll extend the Lady Lion lead to 28-2 in the first quarter. See if Johnson can get anything to take to the next quarter with them. Maybe just a layup. It'll be Wilson with the ball. She'll sling it over to Pruitt. And we're going to get a double dribble call on Pruitt. And it just seems to keep getting worse for the Royals. Hennessy with the ball. She'll look to get up a quick shot from the volleyball line. And that's how the first quarter will end, folks. And as the first quarter ends, we're going to step away, take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Keep it right here. We'll be right back on the Lions Radio Network. And welcome back to Summer Gymnasium, folks. Thanks for joining us tonight. As if you're a Bryan College fan, it's looking good for you right now. 28-2, start of the second quarter. We'll see if Johnson can get anything going here. That's number 4, Kira Bunton on the take, goes long. That's 24, Elmore gets a pretty good rebound on the offensive glass. Taylor Pruitt for 3. Doesn't find its mark. There'll be a Lady Lions. Possession will go for the Lady Lions, excuse me.
We talked on it really heavy in the first quarter, and Johnson still has not figured it out on that 3 ball. I mean, it's kind of frustrating if you're a Johnson fan because you're just seeing them take pointless shots. As Caitlin puts another 3 ball up, it's going to bank off the back of the rim. Johnson will keep the ball right here.
And you're right. We're seeing a lot of chucks, for lack of a better term. A lot of girls just trying to do it themselves. Molaski with the steal after the errant dribble there from Wilson over to Hennessy now. Hennessy will get them into the offense. Hennessy on the drive, kicks it out to Molaski. She's got space. It's good. Alyssa Molaski touches nothing but the net. And Hennessy, that's a little Jose Alvarado action if you know what I'm talking about. Molaski once again just short, and another foul against Johnson. That'll be against Elmore. Hennessy and Elmore have been battling pretty ferociously down there all night.
Hennessy, an aggressive player, especially when she gets in the paint, and especially on defense. She just will not take no for an answer, and if she's got to knock somebody out of the way, I'm sure she will.
She definitely will if you've watched her over these past few years. And being a physical player, that's what you want as a coach, so more power to her. Into the game now, looks like a platoon swap. We've got Hefner, Jones, Carpenter, and Lawson back in the game, so these are going to be the starters finally back in the game for the Royals. Kind of one of those as a coach that you're like, it's kind of like your parents send you to timeout corner as a kid. You know, it works pretty often. Go think about your actions and get back to you. And Hennessy's going to be tied up by Hannah Jones. It'll stay Bryan College ball. Yeah, not much she could do there. She drove into about 4 girls there, and they were all ready to take that ball. So jump ball is probably the best case scenario there.
If I'm Johnson right here, I really want to see Hannah Jones get going, especially with the team leading scorer right now.
Yep.
Another 3 ball off the back.
Yeah, just long. Good hustle from Molaski. We'll see Hennessy now. Farrell fades. She'll drive baseline, swings it over to Russell. Russell once again just can't find her mark there. And another, I believe that's called a loose ball foul from Johnson. We've seen quite a few of those. Refs definitely not letting them play here. And, I mean, for the Lady Lions, your leading scorer from last year, I don't think has a point yet in Samantha Russell, and you still got this lead. Brooks over to Farrell, excuse me. And another foul against the Royals as we'll see Beatty pick one up.
The name of the game tonight seems to be fouls and turnovers for Johnson, and that's something we touched on pregame was the turnovers. A crazy amount of turnovers in games, 14 per game to be exact. That's their average. So if they really want a chance to hang in here, which, I mean, it could be starting to get too late for that to happen, but they really need to clean up these turnovers and try to stay out of foul trouble.
They've really got to, like, I agree with everything you said. They've also got to, like, sit down on defense. They're giving us so many open shots. Driving lanes are just wide open. And they're not playing as a unit collectively. And there's Hannah Jones. You talked about maybe wanting to see her get going. And she needs to in a big way. And that's number 2, Tally Lawson. Doesn't find the net. Hennessy now looking over to Brooks. Saw that one. Brooks steps out of bounds on the far side. It's really easy to do as somebody that's played on this court. It's extremely easy to step out of bounds in those corners. They're tied over there, and the way they're kind of marked, I love our gymnasium, don't get me wrong, but the way they're marked is kind of confusing because they got that little in-between stripe in the middle. I don't know if people at home can see that, but
it's also, I mean, as jumpy as Bryan is right now, just trying to get points on the board and make this a blowout as quick as possible. You can't really blame her for stepping out right there.
And we'll see. Oh, man, she might be my favorite player. Like, game one, I might have decided that. Autumn Davis is a workhorse, man. She is not giving these guards a second to breathe. And we've only seen one, I believe we've only seen one guard be able to shake her. That was number 1, Emily Wilson. And speaking of that, it looks like she's walking to the table right now. And we'll see Sloan Carpenter for 3. That one's short. Hannah Jones on the offensive glass.
She draws a foul right there.
Coach Gabe Johnson is calling for a clean block. I might happen to agree with him just a little bit, but the foul stands nonetheless.
The foul was
that was on Jaden Reed. Hannah Jones will shoot 2 here, looking to get her team's, I believe this is their first free throws of the night. And that one is long for Jones.
Seems like Johnson just cannot catch a break in any facet of the game, and you also got to think it could be part of their youth because they have so many young girls on this team.
And Jones puts the 3rd point in for Johnson. Jaden Reed, flare screen, or not Reed, excuse me. That's Jaden Lee, not Reed. And Carpenter stepped out of bounds on the steal attempt. It remains Lady Lions ball. Autumn Davis to inbound. I mean, Zach, we've got quite a packed house here. This place usually only gets like this for these weekday games. And it's normally just for Tennessee Wesleyan because it's a rivalry. So I think we're seeing a start of a new rivalry here between these two schools. Jaden Lee blows the layup there, but Johnson has brought like all in front of us, and to this side is Johnson fans. So they're traveling really well. They are only an hour and a half away. And that's number 2, Tally Lawson.
The atmosphere in this gym is pretty electric right now too, especially when Bryan does something big, the whole place erupts, and I think there's more Johnson fans in here than Bryan.
Yeah, you might be right about that. So, I mean, we might be seeing the rivalry start between not only the women but the men's too, because you got to guess that a lot of these people are going to stay for the men's game as well. We'll see Russell 4-3 short. Tally Lawson up the court now, looking to find Hefner. Kicks it to Hannah Jones. Just long, as a lot of these Royals players just can't seem to find anything going. But on the Lady Lions side, they haven't scored a bucket in what feels like a field goal in what feels like maybe 3 minutes.
Maybe that, yeah.
Autumn Davis on the drive over to Russell. She'll make Samantha Russell's first triple and first points of the game come there. Just took her a little bit to get going. I suspect we'll see a lot more of that as this game unfolds.
Yeah. And to say this is over is pretty much of a long shot, but the way Bryan is playing right now is pretty electric. Really firm basketball right here by the Lady Lions.
Yeah, we're seeing a team that has been at the top of this conference for 5 years, and this Johnson team is, they've got a lot of new faces in recently in the conference. I know they're doing a lot of good things over there, but we're just seeing a difference in the type of player right now. And another foul gets called by the officials here. Coach Johnson instructing Autumn Davis what to do there to avoid that foul, but we're seeing the youth a little bit, and then we're also seeing girls that know what it takes to win.
Yeah, and as a former baseball player myself, being a senior with a lot of underclassmen, it's very hard to get on the same page with the underclassmen. Yeah, it's tough bringing in new faces, and it's something that all teams go through in the preseason. I believe that foul it's either on number 2 or number 11.
It'll be on number 2, Tally Lawson. But it is something that all teams go through, and like if you're Johnson's side, you just want to see him finish out. I don't know if the comeback is. I mean, obviously you hope your team wins every game, but the comeback could be out of reach here.
Yeah.
But you're really just hoping that your team finishes strong and stays even to where they're at for the rest of the game, to show maybe the start isn't representative of us as a whole.
And for Johnson, these are the type of games that bring a team together. As Caitlin puts up a 3, and it's good.
And after Hennessy makes that triple, Coach Johnson will call a timeout. It'll be a full timeout, and we'll give our voices a little break. We'll step away here. We'll be right back here on the Lions Radio Network. Welcome back once again, folks, to the conference home opener between the Bryan College Lady Lions and the Johnson University Royals. Lady Lions sitting on a 38-6 lead here. As always, I'm your voice of the Lions, Drew Rogers, couldn't even pronounce my own name. Joined alongside with my co-host, Zach Barker here. And we're jumping right back in. Lady Lions aren't skipping a beat. Swarming defense, stolen by Hennessy. Hennessy will look over to Farrell now, over to Majors, good pass, a little showtime here in Dayton as Farrell got that ball and instantly found Majors for the layup.
Johnson's still looking to get something going right here, and it might be a little too late for that now, but as Hannah Jones puts up the layup, make it 40-8 here in the second quarter.
Yeah, almost seems unreal, but here we are. We'll see Hennessy swing it over to Mulaski now. Farrell will look, can't find anybody. Majors looking around. Majors will drive. She'll take the tough contested jumper. Farrell up on the glass, can't get it to go. Carpenter having trouble handling it.
Sloan Carpenter passes it.
Rebounded by Farrell. That was number 3, Becca Gardner, from distance. And I don't know, Zach. I'm seeing some bad. I listened to a podcaster, and he's pretty popular. I won't say who he is, but he says the body language doctor is always in. And right now, the body language doctor is not liking Johnson University on defense.
Not at all.
And that was Gardner once again. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, man. Even that layup right there, they were demoralized.
Yeah.
And they need to get some of that spunk back, and some of that might be on their crowd here to try to help them get back in it.
Like I was saying before we went to break and during the timeout, you know, these are the type of games that bring teams together, that make teams like find their identity. Like, hey, this didn't work, so maybe we need to get together as a team and try to find out what works for us. And right now, they're just not playing as a team. And it clearly shows, especially with the body language and the emotion that they're showing every time that they have to go out and do something, like get to the rim or even play defense, like you mentioned.
You're right, man. That's Autumn Davis just off the rim. Sloan Carpenter now up to Hannah Jones. Tipped by Hennessy off the hands of Hannah Jones. Brooks and Russell check back into the game for the Lady Lions. Davis and Majors exit.
Johnson's head coach visibly frustrated with the performance throughout the first half.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame him too much. That's I feel like I probably wouldn't be in too good a mood either. Yeah. But Mulaski gets her pocket pick by Hefner. Hefner up the court, Goes with the right hand over Brooks and good.
Caitlin dishes it out. Pulled up. Oh, and a travel is called. Looked a little iffy to me. Kind of looked like a pump fake, but
I think it was confusing because it looked just like her normal shot. It was such a good pump fake. I think it threw the officials off.
Yeah.
Carpenter into the lane, blocked by Hennessy. No chance.
Absolutely stuffed at the rim.
Yeah, when she took that in, I was like, surely she's not going to try to go straight up on what you mentioned, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year, but she did, and she found out why. That's Gardner, 4-3, way off the mark, off the feet of Hannah Jones. And it'll be Lady Lions the ball.
You know, we mentioned in the broadcast, or in the pregame broadcast, you know, we wanted Johnson to take advantage of Bryan's youth off the bench, but it seems to be that it's flipped, that Bryan has taken advantage of Johnson's youth right there, especially with that block we just saw from the fifth-year senior Caitlin Hennessy, to get in there and just demoralize that girl from Johnson.
And Coach Johnson is not too happy with the officials right now. I don't blame him. That looked like a flop from number 3 Becca Gardner. That was like when I don't know what she's supposed to do when her back is turned like that. Yeah. She's not throwing any elbows or doing anything unfair. And that's number 1 Emily Wilson on the 3. Caitlin Hennessy will drive in, all sorts of contact. She'll finish through it. Over to Gardner, 4-3 once again. It's good.
Well, it looks like Johnson's found a little bit of a rhythm.
Some signs of life now. Brooks will look to put a stop to it just to the left. Alyssa Malasky on the save. Hennessy for 3, just long.
Oh, and there's looked like that was a foul right there.
That was a foul. That was a really good box out by Becca Gardner. Used a smaller player, frustrating the girl with the physical advantage in Katie Farrell. Yeah. And I believe Gardner's going to shoot some free throws here as we are in the bonus. And as I don't know if you know this, Zach, but 1-and-1 is not a thing anymore in college. It's gone. There's just 2 free throws once you get in the bonus.
Really?
So, yeah, that's a change they implemented last year. Not too sure how I feel about it. I always like the 1-and-1. It's kind of you got to be a good free throw shooter, but Gardner will knock down both of them as the Lady Lions have had their lead cut a little bit here, 43-20.
Maybe a timeout called by Johnson? Or?
I don't believe so. The Lady Lions had the ball. I think there was a shot clock error once again. Having a rough time down there. That is, you'll see that, Zach, when you do more games with me. That happens a lot here. It's student workers. They eventually find their groove, but for the early games, it's pretty tough for them. Hennessy to the rim. Can't quite finish it.
Looking for the 2-point play to put them up by 24 here late in the second quarter.
Definitely not as dominant a quarter. It'd be really hard to do that for the Lady Lions. Johnson's put on 18 here in the second quarter, but they're still holding a comfortable lead. But like you talked about, I would like to see this closing seconds them get back to some of that defense that they were playing in the first quarter, and probably the better half of this second quarter. We'll see Hefner with the ball. She'll go up, blocked by Farrell. Farrell with the hustle, saves the ball over to Brooks now. Brooks will look to find Hennessy, doesn't find her, finds Russell in the corner. Samantha Russell just long. Carry, such a carry. And what looked like a carry results in 2 points for the Royals. We'll see Hennessy now attacking. She'll try to go back. Over to Tori Brooks. She's going to have to get it off. Brooks for three.
Oh.
The last second heave falls just short. And that does it for the first half. We appreciate you listening, folks. We're going to take a break as the players rest up. We're going to rest our voices up a little. We'll be right back here on the Lions Radio Network. Hello and welcome back to Summers Gymnasium. Here for the conference home opener of the Bryan College Lady Lions and the visiting Johnson Royals. Zach, in the first half, we saw a pretty one-sided ball game, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the lack of defense from Johnson and the absolutely dominant defense of Bryan in that first half was just pretty much the tell of the game, and not to mention Johnson being in foul trouble most of the night, especially with turnovers and like not hitting shots. Pretty poor shot decisions early in the first quarter. Let's see if Johnson can try to turn it around right here, and let's see if Bryan can try to find a way to stay on the throat and not get complacent here in the second half.
For the Lady Lions, you're still feeling good, but not the best closing to that second quarter. You'd obviously like to extend your lead whenever you get the chance. So for the Lady Lions, it's back to business. I'd like to see that defensive pressure that we saw in the first quarter and some of the second quarter there, because it felt like for a little bit they were getting a bit lazy and kind of like, all right, we're up 30. We don't necessarily have to do what we've been doing that works. I'd like to see them get back to that. And on the Johnson side, man, I just like to see them calm down. Like, it's just a frantic mess right now from their side. And as long as they calm down, I think they're going to be fine in this game. Does that necessarily mean a 24-point comeback? Probably not. But for Johnson, you want to take something good away from this game, and something good would be to finish strong here.
Yeah, and as we talked about before the game, you said that you watched Johnson play against I believe it was Toccoa Falls. Was that the name? I mean, you said that game was pretty much of a blowout in the first quarter, and then Johnson kind of just hung in there and then pulled away at the end. So,
Toccoa Falls was up for most of that game, Zach. It really took some good shooting from Johnson, and they're not really being afforded those opportunities right now. We'll see Hefner drive in. See the ball swung to Lawson. Beatty will drive the lane, gets on two, swings it back to Hefner where the possession started. Pull-up jumper for Hefner. That's long. Brooks on the rebound. Bryan looking to continue their breakneck pace.
Let's see if Kayla can stay on fire here in the second half like she did in the first, especially defensively.
Russell will take a deep one, just long. Good hustle by Mulaski. Once again, Russell up in the lane, and it's good.
They just gave her the rim right there.
Yeah. That is one thing that Mulaski brings that is so unique. Is she's a shooter, but she's also, as Hannah Jones hits a three right there. She's a shoot-first player, but she hustles so much, whether it be steals, rebounds, all the intangibles. She has it, and it's just not something you see too much from college players these days. Brooks will drive the lane, looking to find somebody, and that'll be a travel on Brooks.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to kind of try to limit if you're Bryan is the turnovers and traveling and jump balls and things like that.
We'll see Tally Lawson drive the lane. My non-professional ref opinion, that was a travel. But Hennessy looks to get it to Farrell. Poked out there by Hefner. It'll remain Lady Lions ball. Hennessy will inbound it to Russell. Russell on the drive, bodied up by Hannah Jones. Over to Brooks. It's good. Tori Brooks stays on fire as she was in the first half from distance, knocking down, I believe it's 3 triples.
Tori Brooks is definitely going to be lighting up the stat sheet tonight with this offensive performance.
And great hustle from Farrell on the steal. Pretty good pass there from Lawson, but Farrell's closing speed made all the difference. Over to Brooks once again. She'll take a heat check. Just short. There's Mulaski once again. Can't come away with this one. Hennessy tips it up. She'll grab it. Hennessy into the lane now. And a foul committed by Hefner.
Draws the foul. Really big IQ play whenever you're falling into the rim like that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see her draw that foul. Just so I give you no chance to even leave that play without points. Hennessy to the line shooting 2. Banks the first one. This is another thing we talked about too, Drew, is Johnson trying to stay out of foul trouble. And here we are in the early minutes of the second half.
And Mulatsky once again frustrates number 32 Beatty, comes away with another offensive rebound. I believe that's going to be her 4th. And she is making plays that you don't often see from that spot. Normally it's a big man role, so like an undersized 4, undersized 5 that makes those kind of plays. But she's doing really well from that. I believe she plays the 3 for Bryan.
Pass out to Brooks, gives it to Caitlin. Johnson's ball.
A 3-second call on Farrell. She got caught with her hand in the cookie jar for just a little bit too long there. Carpenter drives right, then left, over to number 1 Wilson, and Farrell plays decent defense. Looks like she might have came down at the last second there. That's how you get those calls. Officials, when they see that, when you start straight up and come down, they love to call that.
Yeah.
And Hannah Jones will have the opportunity to make the 3-point play.
And that's also the freshman Hannah Jones we also talked about pregame to have a big game today. She's kind of been quiet today on the offensive side of the ball, but seems to be trying to put something together here in the second half. With a big block from Hannah Jones right there to give Johnson the ball back.
Over to Hefner, 4-3, rims out. Hennessy with the rebound. Got a wide open Brooks ahead of the pack. Hefner gives chase. Oh, blocked by Hefner. Great play there. Good hustle. Looks like Brooks had no idea Hefner was giving chase, and that'll save a wide open fast break layup. And as you know, we're a part of, both these teams are a part of the AAC conference. Not the only women's game going on right now. Some scores from around the AAC. Columbia College taking on Brenau University. Brenau holds the edge there, 39-29, with 7:06 to go in the third quarter. Reinhardt taking on Troop McConnell. Reinhardt's up 12, 60-48 in the third quarter. Milligan and Bluefield. Milligan holds a definite advantage there, 70-37. 6:15 to go in the third, and we'll keep this kind of going. Reading these scores, and we'll get into some stats from this game as the timeout commences. Just the 32nd. Montreat and Tennessee Wesleyan in a pretty close game. Montreat up 39-32, 2:14 left in the third. St. Andrews is up over CIU 49-43, and Pikeville has got a pretty commanding lead over Union 55-31. And now let's refocus here and get back into some stats from this game. And I don't think it really has to be said, but Caitlin Hennessy, 15 points, 5 for 8, 2 of 5 from the 3. And unfortunately, I don't believe this is giving me the opportunity to see steals. But if they were, I would guess she's around 4 or 5. Also got 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Samantha Russell, 14 points, only 2 of 7 from 3. But she's, after a cold start, she's coming to her own. Tori Brooks has got 13. And then Alyssa Mulaski, 5 rebounds. I believe those are all offensive, all but one. That's going to be 4 of those. As Hannah Jones pulls a 3 there.
It is nice to see some fight from this Johnson team, especially with how bad that first quarter was.
Hennessy drives baseline, kick out to newcomer Paige Moody, just right. Nevaeh Majors gives chase. Good board there from Gabby Beatty. And Caitlin Hennessy runs over, great play, but she steps out of bounds trying to peg it off Hannah Jones. On the Johnson side, Hannah Jones, far and away the best player tonight. 14 on 5 of 6 shooting. But she's also got 3 fouls, so that's something to watch out for.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 players tied with 5. Those are Wilson, Lawson, and Gardner. And was that Jones once again? I'm sorry, I was looking at this stat sheet here.
I couldn't really tell.
And that'll cut the Lady Lions lead to just 18. Mulaski drives in and puts the layup in with ease. Carpenter up to Jones, and
I wonder what happened right there.
I think she thought Hennessy was going to tip the ball, and she didn't go for the ball.
Yeah. Almost kind of looked like a miscommunication between Johnson players right there.
Mulaski will drive once again over to Moody. Once again, it's good. Paige Moody checks into the game and hits a 3. Extends the Lady Lions lead to 57-34. Hannah Jones will swing it to her bench, and it'll go the Lady Lions' way. We'll see Lawson check back into the game for Carpenter. The Lady Lions have seen some resistance here from Johnson in this third quarter that they weren't seeing, and they've done pretty well to keep the lead at what it was at. Johnson playing much more as a unit collectively. Nevaeh Majors will get stripped by Lawson. Lawson up the floor now. Majors trying to return the favor. Lawson having none of it. A kick ball by Hennessy.
Honestly, that's not a horrible play right there by Caitlin. Kind of slow down the momentum of that Johnson offense.
Yeah, that's a good. It's kind of like a good foul on a fast break for the most part. Wilson uses the screen, gets in the lane. Good D by Davis. Wilson able to go. Pretty much over her.
A hard foul right here.
That's by Hefner. Hefner trying to plead her case to her coach, but that looks like a pretty clean cut and clean or clean and cut trip. Excuse me. And Moody will inbound the ball to Davis. Davis up the right side of the floor. Majors looks to attack, kicks it out to Mulaski. Mulaski attacks now. She'll use all of the baseline. Picked off by Wilson. That's over to Lawson. Lawson posting up Hennessy. Hennessy straight up, short. Autumn Davis holds on to the rebound, and a foul on Hefner. And
that one is also on Jordan Hefner.
Yeah, I believe, I can check. I believe that's going to be her 3rd foul. That'll just be her 2nd, but
very frustrated with the referees right now.
Yeah, she is. She's frustrated. Johnson's coach is frustrated, and we've seen that across the board, and that's kind of what tends to happen when you get this ticky-tack officials.
Yeah,
they're doing a pretty good job, I'd say, but they're calling a lot of stuff that's wide open 3 off the front. Farrell with the offensive rebound, tipped by Lawson. Hannah Jones up the court now, over to Lawson. Lawson gives it back. Good pump fake. Gets Farrell by her, and she puts it in. 57-38 Lady Lions.
I think that's 18 now for Hannah Jones.
Yeah, she's having a really good game. We'll see Russell look to attack Jones. Back over to Brooks. Brooks contested 3 once again. Tori Brooks from distance. And Tori Brooks has played exceptionally well as she gets a little lost on defense. And good hustle by number 3, Becca Gardner, blocked by Farrell once again. Katie Farrell has been all over the defensive end tonight. Russell takes a step through. Sometimes when I'm up here, I call, I know a bunch of these people, so I'll call them by their first names. But Farrell's already putting up what might stand as her season high in blocks. I believe she's got 4. I wish full stats would. I wish they'd let us see it. I'd like to know, but. Beatty sets the screen on Moody. Farrell on the switch. Wilson goes up just long off the rim there. Majors will look to push it up the floor. Moody inside to Farrell. Farrell with the drop step. Are you? Yeah, my Bryan fandom about got the best of me right there, Zach. As yeah, I think that's a good drop step. Of course, I'm not an official. Yeah. I do a little bit in the summertime, but yeah, man, that looked like a perfectly executed drop step.
I didn't see anything wrong with that.
No, I didn't either.
I don't think many of the Bryan parents are too happy with that either. The Bryan parents and fans over here. Coach Johnson is having a lengthy discussion with one of the referees.
We're seeing. Oh boy, I'm gonna stay quiet here. I'm just gonna let this play. I'm just gonna let this play out because. Zach, why don't you take it for a second? I'll just let this go.
Still trying to figure out what's going on here on the floor.
So
as the arena is in silence.
So here, I'll be quiet after this. But basically, that official closest to the Johnson coach right now is saying that the girl who was running the clock said something in response to that last call. So he had her removed. And so that they just found a new clock operator.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, and I believe the conversation is about the fans right now. Man.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, we'll kind of let this play out.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the officials stepping. Obviously they take their time and ref these games. This is not a main job for a lot of them. So, but anyways, back into the action. Lawson dribbling the ball off the floor. We'll see Wilson now guarded by Moody. Wilson will try to put the moves on Moody, and she gets to the rim and one.
And here's that fight back from the Johnson Royals.
Yeah.
They are not going to go down without a fight, and that's the statement they're making right now, especially by drawing these fouls and getting to the rim. Which should have been their game plan from the front, but.
And Moody is just a freshman. These are her first real conference minutes of her career. So pretty smart by Emily Wilson to not try to shoot over as we've seen and go to the hole there. Malasky drop step and a foul by number 3 Gardner. Looks like she had her hands on her. Malasky will go to the free throw line to shoot bonus free throws.
Have a chance right here to get those points from the last foul.
Folks, if you like what you see here, go ahead and head over to BryanLines.com, your one-stop shop for everything Bryan Athletics. We've got rosters, schedules, scores, stats, everything you could ever need in one place for Bryan Athletics. Check it out today. Again, that's BryanLines.com, and we'll get back into the action.
Johnson showing some confusion down here on the court. They would draw the foul. Looks like Bryan came out in that 3-2 defense. It's not something they've ran tonight. Well, it's really just been 2-3, keep them keep them on the perimeter. So
looks like they're moving back into man-to-man here, and I believe there's some confusion over the shot clock once again. I believe the official was signaling for some bonus free throws. So at the line is number 2, Tally Lawson. First one is up and good. Lawson's second one finds the net. We've got an 18-point ball game here. Johnson has slowly reeled them in. Farrell, top of the key, over to Hennessy. She'll take a three and hits it. Caitlin Hennessy, her third three-pointer of the ball game.
Caitlin making a big statement tonight here on offense after a not so shining performance earlier in the week.
And Emily Wilson quietly having a pretty good second half here, taking people off the dribble, which wasn't something we saw from her in the first half. And Brooks is going to step out of bounds once again. Hannah Jones checks back into the game for Gabby Beatty. So this would be the time in this last minute to kind of, you want to cut it to maybe 12 or 13 if you're Johnson here.
Yeah.
And that's when you take that to the fourth quarter. That's when you can make your run.
You can obviously tell a difference in the atmosphere here in this arena tonight.
Yeah.
First quarter, first half even, was so, like, everybody was piped up, excited, ready to watch this game, and now you can kind of feel the tension kind of starting to seep in as Johnson kind of creeps back into this game.
Yep. You've seen the fans get tight, and the players are kind of following suit. They're playing tight as well.
Yeah.
Hennessy was on the dribble drive, picked the ball up over to Molaski. Russell looked to drive on Jones, gets on 2 feet. Farrell now swings it back out to Russell. Russell 4-3, just off the mark. And Molaski once again a foul on Elmore. That foul was inflicted to Katie Farrell, but Molaski with about her 5th offensive rebound in the game. I'm not sure if it'll go in the stat. That one will go in the stat sheet for her, but Farrell will shoot the first of 2 here. She's only scored tonight at the free throw line, making her money because that one's a little short. Farrell's second one is up and good. The Lady Lions extend their lead back to 20. Can Johnson do just about anything? Farrell swats it away on the fast break of the Lady Lions. Hennessy over the top pass to Russell. Russell up and good. And we're going to get, I believe, a push. And that's going to give Johnson more free throws. And one, I don't think she pushed her. 2, I think she walked before. A lot of problems with that play. But
Lawson has also done a really good job of having a physical presence down there on that on the court for a guard. You know, she's really shifty, really quick to the corners.
Yeah, she's punching above her weight class in some respects. Hennessy looks to get it up the floor for one more Bryan bucket. Has some trouble with the handle. Swings it over to Brooks. Brooks not going to get it off. Lady Lions lead here over the Johnson University Royals, 67-47. We'll get you right into the fourth quarter action here. Just a moment. Stay with us here on the Lions Radio Network. Welcome back to the Lions Radio Network on site here in Summers Gymnasium. Lady Lions looking to close out the visiting Royals here. They're up 67-47. And Zach, what do they got to do to get that done?
Bryan just needs to look to maintain this aggressiveness that they've had, and Johnson needs to maintain their rim presence, and I think in this fourth quarter you need to get the ball to Hannah Jones a little bit more as she re-enters the game, and you know, because she's leading the team. I think she's got about 20 points, and there's a three.
That's number one, Emily Wilson, having a monster second half here. No real other way to say it, as I believe. Check here. I believe that's going to be her 9th or 11th point of the half. Molaski drives over to Hennessy. Hennessy, quick pull there. Doesn't find its mark. Jones over to Lawson now. She'll get it to Beatty. Over to Gardner. Back to Beatty. Beatty will look to pull straight to the waiting arms of Farrell. Hennessy up the court. Going to take the smaller defender. A foul's going to be on number 2, Tally Lawson. Hennessy 2 inbound. Gets it into Russell. Russell will look around, kind of figure things out. Brooks will use the screen from Russell. Drives into the lane. Good defense there by Becca Gardner. A foul is called. Some more clock confusion there as Brooks is at the line to shoot 2.
Brooks looking to put the lead up by 19 here in the fourth quarter. She banks the first one.
Brooks' second free throw is up and good. Lady Lions lead here comfortably, 69-50. Emily Wilson, a quick pull over Molaski. Molaski was all in her face there. Hennessy into the lane. And the official will wave off the shot. It's going to be a foul on the floor on number 2, Tally Lawson. Carpenter back into the game now for Becca Gardner.
One thing you love to see too is Bryan has not committed any fouls here.
Great pass there by Hennessy. Wilson up the floor once again. Wilson and Jones, the 2 leading scorer for the Royals tonight. Used to play the pick and roll together. Sloan Carpenter now over to Wilson. Wilson thought about it for a second. Used the screen from Jones once again. Farrell with great defense once again. It's tipped at half court. There's a scramble for the ball. And a timeout by Coach Gabe Johnson. Breaks up the scrum. And it's just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. So, Zach, like you were saying, I'd love to see them get the ball to Hannah Jones more. They did try on that possession, to be fair. But I think her touches are primarily going to come from the low post, not the roll. I think Bryan's defense is just a little bit too good for the guards of Johnson to get it over the top into that roll scenario. So,
yeah, Hannah Jones, like we talked about pregame, you know, we said that she was going to be the standout tonight for Johnson, and she certainly has been that, but it seems like she's gotten to that point a little too late here in this game. With 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you know, the game's not completely out of reach, but you do need a big run here by the Johnson ladies.
Yep. And my player to watch, and was Jordan Hefner. She's not shown up tonight. 1 of 9, 3 fouls, just 2 points. I really thought she would play a bigger role tonight, and part of why they're losing is she's not been able to get going.
Pulaski for 3.
Just short. Farrell, good hustle. Goes against the Lady Lions, unfortunately. And there's Hefner checking into the game. We'll see if she can get herself going here, because one thing that Johnson does not have, maybe outside of Wilson, is someone that can create their own shot and create for their teammates. And Hefner definitely has the ability to do it. She just hasn't had the best game. Hefner crosses into the lane, tries to swing it over to Beatty, stolen by Russell.
It almost seems like Johnson had played this game completely backwards with, we talked about earlier in the game, they were trying to make their own shots when they didn't need to.
Yeah.
They were kind of just throwing the ball up, trying to hit a big 3 when it wasn't necessary. Here's a big 3 from...
There's Tori Brooks for 3. Molaski once again on the offensive glass. She's been too much for them to handle tonight in that regard. Hefner will drive in the lane looking to get something going. Up and in. Her first bucket of the second half. Hennessy driving in on the smaller defender. It's number 2, Tally Lawson. That's got to be her 3rd foul this half. And yeah, I believe that's going to be her 4th personal. Majors will check into the game for Farrell. Hennessy's first free throw is up and good.
Kind of a risky move here by Johnson to leave Tally Lawson in after reaching 4 fouls, especially as big of a role she's played here. And the game's certainly not out of reach.
No, it's not. 7 minutes, crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Hefner looks to get going, swings it over to Carpenter. Carpenter in the lane. Over to Hannah Jones. Good swing here from Johnson. Kind of the first real ball movement we've seen from them. Lawson will look to drive into the lane, swings it over to Carpenter. Carpenter for 3. It's good. Sloan Carpenter, timely 3-pointer. Cuts the lead to 19 here for the Lady Royals. Or, excuse me, just the Royals, I believe.
That's what I'm talking about right there with Tally Lawson, too. The ability to generate plays and make plays like that is pretty special in a young college player like herself. Tally Lawson, just a freshman.
Yep.
Out of Decatur, Tennessee.
As we talked about pregame, one of the 14 freshmen on this court. Hannah Jones, Sloan Carpenter, Emily Wilson, all freshmen. Impressive that they're playing as well as they are at this level. And that is Tori Brooks once again. That's going to be her 4th 3-pointer. And this one goes against the Royals as an errant pass goes out of bounds. And Tori Brooks is now at 20 points. Caitlin Hennessy behind her with 19. Oh, excuse me. Tori Brooks is 23 points. That was her 5th 3-pointer. Samantha Russell at 16.
Tori Brooks kind of flew under the radar tonight.
Yep. And she's been a big part of this Lady Lions team since she got here. And she has only gotten better, and her role has increased steadily as she's improved. And it's showing tonight why that's the case. She's done really well. Russell's second free throw rolls around the rim for a bit, but eventually finds its home at the bottom of the net. We'll see Jones, 4-3, quick pull, no good. Russell with the rebound. Hennessy looking to push it up the floor once again. Over to Molaski. She'll drive it. She spins. Can't find it. Dives on the floor. And a timeout from Coach Johnson on the Bryan side. We're going to step away here. Lady Lions lead at 79-55. We'll be right back here on the Lions Radio Network. And welcome back to the Lions Radio Network, live here on YouTube.com at the Bryan Athletics channel. Give us a subscribe, maybe a like, maybe a comment, so we know you're enjoying these videos. We'll get right back into the action here as we'll see Hennessy take a three. It's going to be left. Farrell on the glass. Farrell up and in. Her first field goal of the game. Feels like she's done everything but put that first field goal in. Hennessy will pick up. And she's her and Coach Johnson are having a conversation about that one. Ends with laughs and smiles as it tends to when you're up 26. Hannah Jones will be on the pop, swings it over to Lawson. Lawson for three, just left there. Hennessy up to Nevaeh Majors. Majors looking to get on the board here. Majors puts it in. Lawson into the lane. Good looking move. Fools both defenders and gets them to look the other way. Puts the layup in. Man, that's a good looking move there from Lawson. Not something we've seen a whole lot tonight from the Royals.
Yeah. I was thinking about either next year or maybe by the end of this year that this Johnson team is going to be something special if they continue to play the way they're playing right now.
They got off to a rocky start here today. There's no denying that. But as we talked about, they've kept this lead at pretty much even. I think the Lady Lions have pretty much, not really sure what happened there, but it'll go Johnson Royals possession, and Lawson trying to create some more, and unfortunately she ran into Russell, and a little bit of an outmatch physically there.
Yeah.
And Russell looked like she was open. Molaski thought about it for a second. Nevaeh Majors drives the lane, goes for the layup, can't get it. Alyssa Molaski giving chase. It'll wind up in the hands of number one, Emily Wilson. Wilson over to Gardner. Gardner thought about it for a second, pulls it down wisely. Wilson once again, this will be a long two if it goes. No good. Nevaeh Majors, pretty good rebound there.
Molaski looking to make something happen right here.
Russell 4-3. It's good. Samantha Russell has found her stride here in this second half and has only helped the Lady Lions. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty comfortable victory for them. I think we're in that territory now.
Yeah.
We can start calling that. Hefner's going to go up. Molaski went straight up. Over to Caitlin Hennessy now. Hennessy looking to attack. She'll spin up and, just long.
Couldn't finish. That was one of those what-if plays, you know.
Yep. That was a good looking
move right there by Hennessy.
And blocked by Russell. And nobody on the Johnson side seems to be trying too much anymore. It's the body language doctor is in.
There was zero urgency from them right there after that block.
A lot of walking back. And Russell, wide open layup. That's pretty indicative of what we've seen tonight. Not much more you can say than that. Yeah. Hefner tries a three. Hefner puts it in.
I think if Bryan hurries, they have a chance here to leave this building with triple digits on the scoreboard.
And it's always a good feeling. Definitely a tradition here in Summers to celebrate when you get 100, as they have over the past few years. Russell for three once again, just left, and Farrell's going to pick up the loose ball foul. And I believe it's almost time for us to see. Yeah, maybe not actually. I thought we might see some emptying of the benches, but that might not happen this game.
Especially with it being such a high leverage conference game. I think Bryan just wants to continue to apply the pressure.
Yeah. Point differential, I believe point differential matters in this conference, so.
Yeah.
Hefner using the screen, trying to get in there, can't. Walled up by Russell, over back to Hefner. Molaski diving on the floor. Wilson for three. Once again, Emily Wilson having a really nice game here. Unfortunately, besides maybe Hannah Jones, the rest of her team didn't come to play as well as she did. She's having a good game.
Seems like the timing from Johnson tonight has been the name of the game. You know, they didn't set the tone early.
Yep.
And it's really cost them here in the fourth quarter. Because, I mean, who knows? You go in and you land a couple three balls.
Yep.
And
yep. If they could have just avoided that start, I think we would have had a pretty good ball game up here. Some more excitement, but yeah, it's really hard to recover from a. And what was it, 40-8 at one point?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a full timeout. And I believe we're going to take one more break. At the conclusion of this game, we'll do a little post-game recap. We'll be right back here on the Lions Radio Network. Welcome back, maybe for the final time here tonight. Thanks for joining us for the conference home opener. Bryan College Lady Lions versus the visiting Johnson University Royals. The Royals are having a little trouble getting the ball in to start this possession. A three from Becca Gardner rings true. And maybe just a little bit too late for the Royals. And Tori Brooks looks to respond. That one didn't look like it hit much.
Oh, I think hit much is a generous term. I don't think they hit anything at all.
Yeah, just trying to be nice. We'll see Farrell on the board. And for Farrell, that's going to go down as her 13th rebound tonight. An absolutely monster performance on the board. She was my player to watch for Bryan, and she has she's proved me right here tonight. She was definitely capable of this and brought it in every way possible.
Yeah.
Zachman, we're wrapping up here. Man. Anybody that we haven't talked about maybe stand out to you a little bit? I've got one person on Bryan's side I talked about a little that I liked quite a bit, but
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I think, like I said, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but Callie Lawson had a heck of a game tonight for the Johnson side, and Emily Wilson too. We didn't really talk about her much pregame.
Yeah.
They kind of showed out on the offensive side of the ball. Not so much the defensive side of the ball as the scoreboard indicates, but. Yeah. And then for Bryan, I think Caitlin Hennessy, she had a heck of a game tonight.
She did.
And also Tori Brooks, just an incredible offensive display from Tori Brooks tonight with three-pointers, rebounds.
Yep.
And
yeah, man, that's about the game right there. I think Bryan capitalized on pretty much, and there's Molaski again on the O glass. Brooks will look. I believe they're going to hold it. and that'll just about do it. The Lady Lions take down the visiting Johnson Royals 89-68 here in Summers Gymnasium, 1-0 in conference, and that'll just about do it for us, folks. We've got a men's game to prepare for, so we're gonna hit the road to the men's broadcast. If you'd like to join us over there, we'd love to have you. Thanks for listening tonight. If not, here on the Lions Radio Network.